Let's begin by addressing the elephant in the room. Is this print better than this digital when it comes to reading? Of course, you can get many books and many apps through your iPad or technology, but at the same time, there's something very attractive about flipping the pages of a book and turning it around and getting to that last page and finishing the story. So there's no easy answer to this, and I would say that it depends on age as well as context. But generally, for children aged 0 to 6, I think it's still far better to use print with them. Print is better for younger children because of its materiality as well as its lack of distractions. A book is a hardcover book. You can touch it, you can feel it, you see the cover, you can read the blurb on the back, you can turn the pages. So there's a sense of interaction when you're reading with the book, and there is a sense of movement when you're reading, and young children like to have that. The second thing about books is that there's really a lack of distractions when you're reading. With a device such as a phone or iPad, you can use it for movies, you can use it for games. There are so many things you can do that's so distracting. Whereas if you have a book, the only thing you can do with it is read. And that actually enhances the reading experience because it helps the child to concentrate.
Little F, F, F. For fluffy feathers.
Even though print is generally better for young children, we can't avoid using technology. And in fact, there are times that we can use technology to support their reading. So I think it's important to consider when and how we should be using technology. Following the Singapore Integrated Guidelines for Early Childhood, I would recommend that children aged 0 to 18 months are not allowed any screen time at all. And the guidelines suggest that for children 18 months and above, that they be allowed 1 hour of screen time a day. In fact, a Singapore study has shown that too much screen time is actually correlated to children's lack of cognitive awareness. But, sometimes when a child is yelling, crying, or when you have something else to do, it's a real temptation to pass your child the phone or the iPad. Maybe one of the suggestions I can make to you is that you could, instead of turning on a YouTube video, turn to a book on your device. And that could be one way to get your child reading on technology. There are a few different tools that we can use for reading. There are reading apps and there are book subscription platforms. When it comes to reading apps, well-designed reading apps can really help our children learn to read and want to read. When you choose apps that have what you call story-related enhancements. These are apps that are designed to guide the child towards the story. There may be certain activities that the child can do, but they're all directed towards the child understanding the story. Badly designed apps, on the other hand, tend to have distractions. So there could be a game, it could be story related, you have a character, but you'll find that when your child is using this app, the child tends to be playing the game and the child's not really reading the story. In fact, there have been studies that have been done where they have had children read a print book as well as ebooks. So two different groups of children. And what they found with children reading the print books was that they tended to remember the story more, whereas the children who were using that technology for reading tended to remember their experience of playing or using the technology a little bit more. A technology that is very useful is book subscription platforms such as Epic and Wawayaya. Epic provides children with curated English books, and Wawayaya is a Chinese app. I love that because my Chinese reading is not very good. And when the children have that curated selection, it actually helps them with finding books. The other thing that these apps normally provide is that they will have this function where you can press read to me.
What begins with A?
A.
Or you can look for meanings, or you can actually just choose not to have the read to me function. So it gives the child choice. It gives the child some sort of agency to be able to decide what they want to do. The idea is to make use of these possibilities to enjoy that reading experience with your child. If you're an educator in the classroom, one of the things that you could do with technology is to make available some of these iPads with reading apps or with subscriptions in your classroom. Imagine you may not have the time to read to all your kids, but during the reading time, some of them could make use of the technology, hit the read to me, and have more books being read. And so in this way, you can actually amplify the reading possibilities in your classroom. The important thing when it comes to using technology is to remember that technology is not your babysitter. I can't stress how important it is for you to read with your child and to read to your child. The most important thing we need to know about reading with young children is that love for reading is so important. All too often, we focus on whether they are able to read, we focus on their proficiency, we don't get them to pronounce words. But really, at the end of the day, the way to cultivate, to develop a reading child is to build that love for reading. And we can do that when we spend time reading to and reading with our children.